this picturesque town of Koblenz is not where you would expect this to happen. You'd expect it to be at the ICC in The Hague. However, Syria is not a party to the International Criminal Court, and so it's exempt from being tried there. Now, you can go through the Security Council at the United Nations, but Russia and China, both staunch allies of the Syrian government, have ensured that the crimes committed in Syria cannot be judged there. They've refused to refer it and actually vetoed any attempt to do so. A special tribunal to look at the crimes in Syria has also faltered in the same way. So what was left was universal jurisdiction, and this courthouse in Koblenz has become the scene of it.
Has there been any reaction so far from the victims?
So the people who gathered here really early in the morning say that they're happy that that there has been this result, that somebody is going to jail, but they mostly point at the systemic nature of the violence. The court here heard for an hour and a half from the judge, and the vast majority of that verdict was about how torture really was systemic in Syria, how there was a system, how when you were arrested, when you got to the jail, you were beaten. There were some quite graphic descriptions of the terrible circumstances in which people were held, how people were beaten, in which positions, etc. But what is really important is that it's systemic and widespread, and that will also allow this case to serve as a precedent for other cases across Europe. So that is what makes it so extremely historic and so important as well.
Fernand, just give you a second there to put your earpiece in. Well done for keeping that together. What sort of legal implications is this going to have for similar trials?
So people here are hoping that this can set a precedent for trials in other countries in Europe. There are cases being prepared in Norway, in Sweden, in Austria, in France. And the systemic nature that has been set out here and now has also been certified to be that way by a judge who's looked at the evidence and has said that it is admissible in court. People are really hoping that that can be used in other cases as well. And what's really important for the people here also is that the judge mentioned Assad by name. Now, of course, this is not a case against the Assad regime. This man is a fairly low-level official, but she did implicate his role in the proceedings in establishing this system of torture. And that is something people will be looking towards with an eye on if they could ever bring Bashar al-Assad to justice, because that is also something I'm hearing from people here. They say, you know, this is a small step, but the person who's really in charge is not on trial here, and that's Bashar al-Assad.